Thanks for the nightmare fuel, Kirby. I didn't need to sleep again ever or anything. It's fine, don't worry about it. Last night's Nintendo Direct brought the heat, showcasing a basket full of games coming to Switch later this year, including literal flaming footballs. That's right, Messi, step aside. The king of football has returned, and it turns out he's an Italian plumber wearing armor. The newly announced Mario Strikers Battle League is launching sooner than you might expect, on June 10th, 2022. And will feature equipable gear that will not only change the stats of your players, but also their appearance.
Customize as you see fit.
But that wasn't the only shiny new thing announced at the Nintendo Direct. We got to see Kirby's new mouthful mode in new gameplay from Kirby and the Forgotten Land.
Inhale a car to zoom around.
Then we got to watch these two having a blast playing some volleyball in the new Nintendo Switch Sports.
Here's another attack. Now's their chance. They get the ball, and with the setup from Koizumi, Takahashi scores!
And we got a reveal trailer for Xenoblade Chronicles 3, which was a characteristically melancholy affair filled with oversized swords, catgirls, and giant titans. Mario Strikers Battle League, Kirby and the Forgotten Lands, Nintendo Switch Sports, Xenoblade Chronicles 3, and all the other games featured in the showcase are coming to Nintendo Switch in 2022.
Anything goes on this field.
I'm now joined by GamesRadar's global editor-in-chief and massive Nintendo fan, Sam Loveridge, to tell us more about the story. So, Sam, thanks for joining me. First thing I want to know, what was your favourite announcement from the show?
I've got two favourite announcements. One was the mouthful mode for Kirby, because what the heck?
It's horrifying. It's horrifying.
It is horrifying, and I love the amount of memes that is already generated after 12 hours after the show of ridiculous. All of these memes started appearing, just sort of taking the mick out of Kirby. But I quite like the fact that it's kind of in keeping with his history. You know, he's always had this copy ability which lets him take on the abilities of other enemies and characters within Kirby's world, and now it's like a way of him interacting with the world, but in the same sort of vein, but with hilarious results. So I felt like it's in the spirit of good fun, but also in Kirby's wheelhouse, which is great. If not utterly disturbing to see him completely engulf a car, but
100%.
Kirby's got a Kirby. And then my second favourite announcement was Switch Sports. I was a huge fan of Wii Sports back in the day. It's just the perfect party game. And my parents and my family are people who don't really understand games or enjoy games. So 1-2 Switch was a big hit with my family one Christmas. And now seeing that come back, but in the form of like such an accessible thing as a Switch Sports, with just sort of physicality of being able to bowl, and now there's going to be volleyball as well and football. It just feels like a great way to get everyone involved with gaming, regardless of like your ability or interest in games generally, really.
Yeah, definitely. I think Wii Sports was definitely that sort of catalyst that made the Wii such a popular device, right? Like Nans were playing Wii bowling and then all of a sudden wanting to go out and buy a Wii, which is why it was so difficult to get. Do you really imagine it kind of catching the zeitgeist in that way on Switch as well?
I think it's going to be really tricky because Wii Sports came free with the Wii when it first released. It acted as kind of like one of the best demo discs of all time. Whereas this is a premium purchase. It's not quite full price. It retails at £31, which is probably around $35. But it means that there's suddenly like a huge barrier to entry, and it does mean that it may not catch fire as much as the Wii version did. Obviously, you have to buy a Wii to play Wii Sports, which is like almost £400. But there is that sort of barrier to entry when you're putting quite a decent price on this game.
It will be exciting to see. And then lastly we got a lot of announcements last night at the Nintendo Direct, but one thing that was missing perhaps for some people is Breath of the Wild 2. When do you think we're likely to see more Breath of the Wild 2, and is it still coming in 2022?
Yeah, I've always been quite skeptical that it's coming in 2022. It feels like just too big.
Me too.
Obviously I hope it does. And Nintendo have been very quick to sort of jump on the sort of discussions around the worries about it not releasing this year, and they've been like, yes, it's definitely coming this year. But they were also very quick to say that this Direct was focusing on games coming in the first half of the year. So I guess that will be ended by Splatoon coming out in the summer at some point. I imagine that Breath of the Wild 2 will be the focus for E3. They tend to have like the one big game that they end E3 on and do like an extended gameplay reveal and discussion in the treehouse with the developers. So I imagine that'll be the place that they dedicate real time to showing off that game, because I imagine it's going to come out like October, November time and be their sort of big Christmas marquee game. So hopefully this isn't a sign that it's not coming. I imagine that would be like a little sneaky teaser at the end of this Direct, but that's fine. We can wait another couple of months, right? Maybe?
Sure. Can we? I can't. Well, there you have it. Let me know down in the comments below which of the Nintendo Direct announcements you're most excited for. And finally, remember to subscribe to GamesRadar on YouTube so you don't miss any of our future games reviews, news, or guides.